Right now, 4 o'clock on your Tuesday, the winds are calming down, actually, believe it or not. And the best of all, greatest news, the high wind warning has expired in Denver and around the metro area. We'll take an expiration any day on that.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Tom Green. The difference is up in the hills. Very different scene up there. Let's take a look around on our CDOT cameras. You can see at C470 around Alameda, conditions a lot better. Still some choppiness in the camera. It's pretty gusty out in the foothills still.
It has been a really messy day in the high country. Our man in the mountains, Matt Renew, sent us this video from the Silverthorne area. Lots of snow going on the roadways. Snow still packed on the road as well. And then you factor in the wind. Oh, Kathy, it's been a lot.
Yeah, some of the high passes were closed today. Vail Pass closed for a while, Loveland Pass as well. Up there, it was a very different story.
Very different story. Springtime in Colorado means wind and mud, and now this year it means snow. And we have all of these things going on today with a weather system that is crossing Colorado. The high wind warning for Denver has canceled out, along with the Front Range foothills, as well as the freeze watch. We have that issued for tonight. Very concerned about that. But because the winds continue across the Front Range on the backside of a storm that's triggering severe weather to our east, that will actually help to keep those overnight minimums up above freezing for many areas. And the winds are decreasing somewhat in Denver as the evening drive gets underway. Slowly they will decrease for all areas overnight. There is a freeze warning in effect south. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. An additional light snow with a winter weather advisory in the mountains. But the wind is anything but calm right now. DIA's got a gust of 53 miles per hour. Call ahead, check ahead. I'm guessing there are delays. I'm guessing there are cancellations. Look at Broomfield with a wind at 52. The gusts in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range from Denver up into southeastern Wyoming. So high wind warnings in Wyoming, high wind warnings, Colorado Springs down to the New Mexico line. We could still see a gust to 60 miles per hour. So fire danger of prime concern with red flag warnings out through the evening as well. Humidity values have been running in the single digits and lower teens, while up in the high country, as Tom mentioned, it's snowing like crazy up there. And that snow still going on the radar tonight. Additional light accumulation is expected, and that will impact your travel on I-70, where that winter weather advisory remains in effect for another hour or two. So we'll continue to monitor this, and coming up, we'll have the hour by hour on when those winds will finally decrease and look ahead to the Mother's Day weekend forecast.
Okay, as Kathy mentioned, windy conditions creating a lot of problems at the airport again today. The FAA issued ground delays for flights about 8 o'clock this morning. According to FlightAware, more than 600 flights have been delayed today. Also today, Excel is catching up on those power outages. According to our outage map, there are more than 50 outages impacting about 4,000 people. Still don't have power. In other news, one of 3 defendants accused of throwing a rock at cars last year, killing a 20-year-old woman, will face additional charges.
Today, a judge in Jefferson County found that there was enough evidence to move those charges to trial. And investigators say that Joseph Koenig was involved in throwing objects at 2 more drivers, and that was months before Alexa Bartell was killed. Our 9 News crime and justice reporter Kelly Ranke was at the hearing today. And Kelly, prosecutors say they did get help from one of the co-defendants.
Yeah, Kim and Tom, prosecutors heavily relied on an interview they had with Nicholas Karolczyk this past January, so just a couple months ago. He told investigators he and Joseph Koenig threw a rock or concrete at 2 moving cars in February of last year, although only Koenig is facing additional charges right now. We knew about the incidents last April. Investigators say Koenig, who's on the left, Nicholas Karolczyk in the middle, and Zachary Quack threw rocks at 7 drivers. One of those rocks killed Alexa Bartell. These additional charges stem from 2 incidents that happened a few months earlier. Koenig's defense attorney said cell phone data excluded his client from these 2 locations, but today a detective testified his co-defendant Karolczyk agreed to an interview in January of this year. Karolczyk told the prosecution he was with Koenig during those earlier incidents, and they both threw objects at cars in those 2 spots. Koenig was charged with 2 counts of attempted murder and 2 counts of assault. He's now facing the most amount of charges of the 3 defendants. Karolczyk, who told prosecutors he was with Koenig that night in February, is not facing additional charges right now, and we don't know if he will be later on. Tom.
Do we have any idea when this might actually be going to trial?
So all 3 defendants are going to trial at separate times. So we're not going to see one different trial. I think the latest trial is set to start in August, the first one in June, but who knows, maybe we'll see plea agreements before then. But as of right now, all 3 of these cases are set to go to trial.
All right, Kelly Ranke, thanks. The Denver Classroom Teachers Association organized what they're calling walk-ins this morning across the district.
The union says that DPS isn't paying in accordance to their contract agreement. Our Janelle Finch spoke to a teacher and explains what they want.
Dozens of Denver Classroom Teachers Association members participated in a walk-in here at Denver South High School this morning. DCTA is calling on the district to pay teachers what they believe they're owed. Before the bell rang to start the school day, chants
What do we want? Fair pay!
Filled the Denver South High parking lot. Educators demanded Denver Public Schools pay according to a new union deal reached in 2022.
I've been a teacher for 17 years, all in DPS.
Matt Craig teaches 9th grade English. Even he says district math isn't adding up.
We negotiated in our last salary contract that we would get a COLA increase based on how expensive Denver is, and we know Denver is expensive, if we were able to get DPS the funding, and we did. So now DPS is saying they don't have the funding to pay us.
2024 National Education Association data says Colorado is 46th in the country for starting teacher pay.
That definitely has an impact on whether or not people want to come into the profession and whether or not, they stay in the profession.
Amy Bacalert is the State Education Association president. She says all levels of the system have to support schools properly.
We need the legislature to play a role in that as well. They need to prioritize funding our public schools in Colorado. And then when that money gets to our local districts, we need the districts to prioritize putting those dollars towards educator salaries.
In a statement from DPS, the district says per its contract, teachers will get a 5.2% cost of living adjustment increase and $1,000. DCTA says teachers should get that plus increases they receive from years of experience and education level. This was the case for the last school year.
As they're not paying us, we're getting pushed out of the city that so many of us love, and just the stress of that is too much.
DCTA says walk-ins were held across the district today, including Montbello, University Park, and Lincoln High. In Denver, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Data from DPS says 39 teachers have voluntarily left the district this year. A records request found that 3 left because they were dissatisfied, 7 for new jobs. Looking ahead to tomorrow, Denver will once again be testing its outdoor emergency sirens. You can hear those 86 sirens around the city and 11 sirens at the airport. The test happens at 11 in the morning. We do this all the time, every year. There's no need to do anything, just a test. We want to give you a warning. The city says it will last for 3 minutes.
Today marks 5 years since the shooting at the STEM school Highlands Ranch, where 2 students shot 9 people, including 18-year-old Kendrick Castillo. He was killed while he lunged at one of the shooters, saving his classmates' lives. Today, the school was closed, holding a Remembrance Day instead of classes. Students painting rocks in Kendrick's honor, and all week long, the school is giving back through acts of kindness. Our Jaleesa Irizarry will have much more on that story coming up on 9 News at 5.